Hey, how's it going? I am in the middle of fixing my grandmother's computer, and this computer is slow as balls. So I figured I would take this time to also make a video. Hey, what? Anyway, alright, this video about, to be honest, I really don't know. What's a reliable topic? Troops. Let's talk about some troops, motherfucker. So first and foremost, troops are mandatory, which means that we've all got to take troops. Troops are just a necessary thing. At all costs, we have to take troops. Troops can mean different things for different armies. Primarily, troops can mean, for orcs, for example, can mean core. Like, it'll be the basic part of your army. And it's that way for a lot of things. It's not necessarily that way for Space Marines or Eldar, but it's that way for a lot of armies, like particularly Horde armies. But anyway, it can mean core. Also for orcs it means anti-infantry, and also for orcs it means yeah. Anyway, I can't think of a third thing it would mean for orcs. Anyway, it also means lack of anti-tank. In the extreme. So it can mean bad things too. And so then you can build your army around your troops. For example, you can do stick with orcs because orcs have a very unique kind of troop. You can build your army around your troops. You can have, for example, like I said, it means a weakness to tanks. So you can get a bunch of anti-tank in the rest of your army and shoot them out and then go kill stuff. And be great. Or you can focus on the anti-infantry and ignore the tanks, because a lot of times people don't have a lot of tanks, and even when they do, even with pie plates, you're going to struggle to kill the orcs. I mean, unless you're rocking the 9 Lehman Russ thing going on, you're still going to struggle to kill the orcs, even with pie plates, because we can just spread out and just ignore you, which is great. So yeah, and then what else? For Space Marines, it means durability in their troops, and it means we don't have to focus on them at all. Attack squad can go out there completely unsupported and still do things. It can be expected and reliably still do things. It's not something you can expect to get done with an Imperial Guard squad. With an Imperial Guard squad, you can't expect it to do things at all. So it's just kind of more relaxed with Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines and that ilk. but yeah. So what should troops do in general? Define a role for them. Anti-troop is a good role because they're going to be on objectives, and so are the enemy's troops. So they're probably going to see each other at some point. So anti-troop is always a good role for troops, because it's a thing. Both are mandatory. You know the enemy's going to have troops, and you know your troops are going to be there. So yeah, it's mandatory. Other roles that they can fulfill. For example, my Iron Warriors, I field 2 Colossi. The 2 Colossus siege mortars that I field are my anti-troop for sure. So what do I do with my troops? Well, now that there's this gaping hole in anti-tank, my troops fill the anti-tank role, which Space Marine troops can do better than other troops in a lot of ways. But it works, so I gave my troops the anti-tank role. And then for Imperial Guard, by the way, I'm on the floor. This setup is laughable. I couldn't find another place to put it, and it has to be near my modem. So anyway, so the what else? What do you do with troops when you're building an army? How do you make it so they fit in, other than just defining the roles? For example, let's say that in my Iron Warriors, I know that I need anti-tank. At what point do I stop putting troops in, and how much anti-tank do I really need? Well, for my Iron Warriors, There's another unit that's dedicated to anti-tank, and it's my obliterators. My obliterators are there to just wreck shit pretty hardcore. Particularly the land raiders. The deep strike, and they're all like, melter! And then the land raiders are all like, but yeah. So at what point do I stop putting in troops? Honestly, in my opinion, you can't have too many troops. All of my armies, I can max out troops. Hey, K-Bar. This is my cute cat. But all of my armies, I have 6 troop choices, at least, available for all 5 of my armies. Anyway, for my orcs, I almost always field at least 100. For my guard, minimum of 100. Like, that is not acceptable if there are not 100 guardsmen on the table at any point level. I don't care if it's a 500-point game. I'm kidding. Though you could almost squeeze that in there. Not quite. You could have, like, 80 guardsmen at the 500-point level. Anyway, what else? For my Space Wolves, rocking out the troops, man. I make Wolfguard troops, and I have some Wolfguard Terminators, and then I've got a ton of Blood Claws. I like Blood Claws. That's right. That's right. I like a terrible unit. Get off my nuts. And then I've got some Grey Hunters. That's right. I also like winning. Backs away. Backpedals fast. Anyway, what else? So troops, yeah. At the end of the day, troops are just something that you need, and they can fulfill a ton of roles. I think that a lot of people look at troops and they're like, it's the mandatory thing. I don't want that. Get that out of here. Like, spill it out. 2 5-man squads. Boom. Moving on to the fun stuff. I think troops are a viable option. I think that cheap infantry that are reliable, it's a damn good thing, I think. And my Iron Warriors unexpectedly became a Horde army because I take Guard allies. And doing Chaos Guard, Renegade Guard, that is some fun stuff. Was it converting that? Was it take a squad of guardsmen and then like some orc bits and throw them on there, and it works great. Once they're fully painted in like 3 years, I'll show them. That's my big problem, and one of the reasons I don't show a lot of my armies is because they're not fully painted. I have so many models, so little time. It's kind of ridiculous. And then I got to do things like fix early 1990s computers. That's right. Anyway, enough of that. So, but troops, yeah, I think troops can be a great thing. I think that more people need to use troops. I think the troops are awesome troops, Mr. Troops of the troops. And if you have any questions or if you want any suggested loadouts for armies or troops, leave them in the comments below. I will do my best to get to them. I think I've gotten to like 95% of the comments that are put on my videos. I always do my best to get in there and be like, hey, how's it going, people? I like talking. I get kind of lonely sometimes, up here in my house. I could use some company. It's really weird, and I'm going to stop there. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you watched this far, 8.5 minutes of your life have now dissipated, and you're probably going, why did I even do that when he didn't really talk about anything? But I'm just going to say thank you, because you made me happy. That's what you did.